What's up, you guys? Thanks so much for tuning in to my channel. I'm Mark the Excel Guy. Today we're going to talk about 5 different ways to copy and paste in Microsoft Excel. You're probably wondering, why do I need to know 5 different ways? And the answer is, you don't. Just pick 1 or 2 that are intuitive to you, that you can use efficiently, that are quick, that you can commit to memory, and then reuse them over and over again. I'm just going to go over 5 so that you can pick the best one for you. All right, and I'll explain my personal favorites, as well as some that I would probably avoid if I were you. So with that said, let's jump right in. Here I have a simple Excel workbook. So as we copy and paste, it's important to know what you're copying and pasting, because there are different things that Excel defaults to. You can copy and paste a formula, it can copy and paste a format. It's really important to know that. This first way to copy paste that I personally like, don't use too often, but I like it because it's quick and efficient, is using Ctrl D and Ctrl R. Put your cursor in the cell that you want to copy. So let's take this 5, for example. We're going to hold the Shift key and go down, 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 down. Let's say we want to make 5 5s. What we do is we highlight everywhere we want a 5 and then hit Ctrl D. And what that does is it brings down this 5 so that each of these cells now contains the formula 2 times 2.5. Now it's important to know it brought the formula with it. So that way of copying and pasting is going to copy the formula. Now the other question is going to copy the formats. So let's do the same thing over here. Ctrl D, and as you see, it copied the formula as well as the format. Ctrl R works the same way. It's just copying anything to the right. So Ctrl D, if you think of D in terms of down, that's how you copy something down. If you do over here, you can do Ctrl R. That's going to copy it to the right. Now, unfortunately, Ctrl L does not work. That brings up create a table. So that's, I think, part of the reason why I don't like this way of copying and pasting that much. Although it's quick and efficient, I haven't found it to be particularly useful. One reason I don't really like it is because you can't do Ctrl left or even Ctrl up. So it's a little bit tough to use in every instance. And the way I just cleared that formatting essentially is I put my cursor here because I want to get rid of all these 5s. If you do Ctrl Shift down and hit delete, you delete all the 5s. That gets rid of the formulas in those cells. And then if you do Alt H E F, that clears the formats. So that's an easy way to clear out formats. So if we put 5s in here, now they're back to the original formatting. Now the next way to copy and paste is similar to that. So start in the cell that you want to copy, and you go down. Let's say we want to make 5 again. So you click F2, and that just brings up the cell, and that's another shortcut, is F2 takes you into the cell so you can see the formulas or whatever, or the value or whatever's there in more detail. So you hit F2, hold Control, and hit Enter. Now what that did is that copied this formula all the way down, similar to Control D. But formatting is a little different. So if you do that same thing, you highlight what you want to copy, you have to hold Control and hit Enter. You see it copied it down, the formula, but it didn't copy the format. So that can be useful if you don't want to copy the format, you just want the formula that's there or the value that's there. You can do that. Another useful thing is that you can go to the right, you can go up, and you can go to the left. And that's kind of why I like this one a little bit better. Even though it's a few additional keystrokes, I think just being able to use it in any situation, just highlight the cell you want to copy, go down, right. You can even do it as a big array like this. F2, hit Enter, and now you have a big array of 5s. Super useful. That one I actually use probably most often, or second most often. The next one is just the simple Control C, Control V. Many of you probably know this one. You can copy and paste, and it doesn't have to be adjacent to the cell. So if I want to put this 5 over here, I can just do that. Control C copies it, Control V pastes it. And again, I can just highlight whatever I want, Control V, and it puts it there. Again, it's doing the formula as well. And if you do it with this, it'll copy over the formatting. Now you can, through Paste Special, just paste the value or the formula and leave off the format, but that's a different video. That's going to take a little bit longer to explain. So now these last 2 are my least favorite, but they still work. So first one is, with your mouse, unfortunately, drag this 5 down. So that's going to copy over the formatting and the formula as well. One more time. The nice thing about this one is if you're dealing with a large set of data, let's say I put another 5 here, and I want to copy this 5 all the way down, I don't have to drag it down, all right? I can if I want to, but I'm going to Control Z and undo that. all I have to do, if there's adjacent data to it, just double click on this little box, and that'll bring that 5 all the way down, and it knows when to stop. So Excel's pretty smart with that. So that's a pretty good one. I think a lot of people probably use that, and it's not the worst, but I prefer not to use a mouse. It's just a little bit quicker for me. And in general, I think it's quicker if you commit to practicing it. Finally, the right click copy, and then you right click and you paste. It gives you a lot of paste special options here, which we can talk about later, but just a simple right click, you can paste it several times. It doesn't have to be adjacent. It can be if you want to. So I can right click, paste, do the same thing here, right click, copy, right click, and paste. So those last two, I don't necessarily recommend, but they will get the job done. Comment below, what's your favorite? Which ones do you use? If there are other ways to do it, I'm sure there are in Excel that I don't know. If you want to share those as well, that'd be great. If there's a 6th, 7th, 8th way to copy paste, let me know. And maybe next time I'll do 10 ways to copy paste. If you like this video, if you learned something, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and in the description there's going to be a link to a Google Drive that has a PDF in it, which is a shortcut cheat sheet. You know how we did Alt-H-E-F to clear formats. So the cheat sheet is going to have shortcuts that I find particularly helpful. It's pretty much all the ones that I know and I use. Download that, it's free. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.